Hi, I'm Jennifer Reynolds, and I own Sauce Goddess Gourmet. And we make obscenely delicious sauces, spices, dip mixes, and kettle corn. The wet marinade is where you're taking a liquid and you're putting it on your meat or your fish or your veggies, and you're letting it camp out, again, 4 hours to overnight, depending on what the protein is. A wet marinade typically consists of some sort of seasoning, whether it's part of a sauce you're using, like Italian dressing, or whether it's a teriyaki kind of a thing. It's a liquid that you're going to add some seasoning to, and it probably has some acid, it probably has some fat, and it probably has some sugar, and it probably has some salt. It doesn't have to have the sugar, but it should have a tiny bit of the salt. And you're going to put it in a baggie, plastic, glass, whatever you want. Put it on your meat, store it in the fridge 4 hours to overnight. One way that you can infuse flavor into your meals is to make a quick marinade. And I happen to love starting with our sweet and tangy marinade. Now this is very full jar, so I'm going to try to tilt it so you can see it on camera. And look at that, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to pour some of this into the bowl. You will notice the imprecise measurements. There are no measurements going in this. I'm using half a jar. Then I have some toasted sesame oil. I happen to like this. I'm just going to throw a little bit of that in there. That was probably a teaspoon. And then ginger. You can use fresh ginger if you want to. I find this is equally easy, equally flavorful. So basically what we're doing right now is we're taking an existing product, my marinade. You could take anybody else's if you want. Mine's better. Sauce Goddess is better. And we're adding ginger, sesame oil. So we're adding two flavors that aren't already in there, infusing them in. You could absolutely heat this up if you'd like. Here we have our flank steak. This is actually a fairly small one. And this is a tough cut of meat. It's delicious when it's cooked right, marinated. It needs a marinade, in fact. So this is ideal for a marinade that's got some acid to it, as long as it doesn't have too much acid so it doesn't chemically cook the meat. But what I'm going to do right now to make sure we infuse more of the flavor of the marinade into the meat is I'm going to give it some nice cross cuts. And I'm going in there a little bit. And this is going to give us more surface area, and more of the marinade will penetrate deeper into the meat. We're going to do this. There we go. We got that part. Now I'm going to just go the other way a little bit. Flip it over. The same thing. And I'm going against the grain. So the grain's going this way, and I'm going kind of cross to the grain. And you don't want to go too deep, or you end up with, you end up going through the other side. I have done that once or twice, so I speak from experience. All right, so we've got this cut, and you can see all that surface area we created. It's going to take the marinade really well. And we're back with our marinade. Into the drink it goes. And then this, I'm going to marinate overnight. And this is like 3/4 pound of steak, half of a jar of sauce, and it's just going to hang out, and it is going to be absolutely fabulous by the time it goes to the grill. It's going to absorb a lot of those flavors, like the sesame oil and the ginger is just going to permeate the meat, and it is just going to taste fantastic. We've got our marinated flank steak in the bowl, and you can see how the flavor has gotten into all of those little cross cuts that we put in there. Throw this right there in the middle of the grill, and that's going to cook for about 5 minutes aside, and then it'll be done medium rare. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. Let's give this a test and see if it's ready to flip. Yeah, see, some of it's starting to get a little caramelized. Okay, this has been cooking for 5 minutes with the lid on, and that's a nice, see that little tiny bits of char? That's kind of what we're looking for. This will be done in just another couple minutes, and it'll be a nice medium rare. Time to rest for 5 minutes. Thank you so much for attending this session. I invite you to shop with us or find a retailer at saucegoddess.com. And we've even got a special little coupon code for you for making it all the way through this presentation.